Friday, November 14th, 2025. That's the date. That's how it's going to go. I'm showing up, putting in the work, but I'm telling you now, I'm taking that L. We'll see what happens after, but that's
Gervonta Davis has packed on some serious size, and Jake Paul isn't letting that slide. Jake's been throwing jabs online, calling Davis enhanced and mocking him over his weight gain. Reacting to recent training clips of Tank, Jake pointed out how much bigger Davis looks than usual, calling it suspicious. "Yeah, you're naturally small. We're going to check you for PEDs," Jake said. "You got big just to get embarrassed in the ring."
They have Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis. That's the state of boxing.
Yeah, that's
right
crazy.
Let that sink in.
Jake
that's
Paul,
right
Gervonta Davis is so crazy. Yeah. 135 versus 200. That is so nuts.
They're all expedition.
None of them are.
They're exhibitions.
Jake's been searching for any weakness in Tank's armor, and now he thinks he's found one. The weight, according to ESPN, Gervonta is moving up nearly 60 pounds for this fight. A massive jump for someone who usually fights at 135. This isn't just a weight increase. It's a complete physical transformation. And when you see him now, the change is obvious.
Boxers right now. I think that fight there, because of Tank's skill level, it's like it makes it fair, even though he's not. The weight difference is crazy. Really and truly, bro, Jake Paul should not land a punch on Tank. This guy's one of the greatest boxers.
Even during their face-off, Tank didn't look like the same lightweight who flattened Ryan Garcia. His body looked thicker, his chest broader, his neck packed with muscle. Even under that camo jacket, you could tell he'd bulked up. That's the image that kicked off the entire debate. Fans on X started posting side-by-side photos, showing how the once sleek knockout artist now looks like he's been lifting heavy for months.
What do you think of Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis? I know on Instagram you call it a circus.
Yeah, this is boxing is slowly turning into the WWE. That's what I think.
Does Tank Davis have a chance?
Yes, but
yeah?
I don't even want to talk about it. Don't ask me a question like that again.
Yeah, right.
But that's exactly the goal this camp seems to have. It's all about function over flash. The new Tank isn't built to look good. He's built to take punishment. Facing a natural cruiserweight like Jake Paul means he has to be ready to absorb power, not just avoid it. Jake fights close to 200 pounds, and he throws every punch with full force. Tank's strategy has been to bulk up smartly, trading a bit of speed for extra toughness. Training footage from his camp tells the same story. His longtime coach, Calvin Ford, knows that under exhibition rules, with heavier gloves and no strict weight limit, Tank can safely add muscle without worrying about win.
My only concern is, the gloves. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't fight in 12-ounce gloves. We don't use 12-ounce gloves. That's training gloves, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's 2 pounds away from Jake. He fights in 10s. Tank fighting 8s, so he losing 4.
Still, even with all that extra mass, Tank has been warned about Jake Paul's unique punching power by someone who knows firsthand, former UFC champion Tyron Woodley, who fought Jake twice in 2021. Their second fight ended with a second-round knockout that ESPN Ringside later named KO of the Year. It was the kind of punch that silenced all doubts about Jake's power. Now, Woodley's advice to Davis carries real weight.
133 pounds, a 5'7" wingspan. Tank fighting me would be a fairer matchup. We're basically the same size. And you wonder why fans think Jake's fights are rigged? Because every time we see some nonsense like this, it feels like WWE with boxing gloves. Here's the kicker though. Jake threatened to sue anyone who calls his fights rigged.
My advice to Tank, take Jake seriously, Woodley told Fruity King. For a fighter on Tank's level, going up against someone who doesn't have the same amateur or pro background might sound easy, but Jake's got the drive to prove people wrong. That's dangerous. Woodley's seen what happens when fighters underestimate Jake Paul. Even though Tank's a powerful puncher, he's moving up to face a guy who walks around at 195 pounds. He added, that's a whole different kind of power. You've got to get close to him, and with Jake's reach advantage of 5 or 6 inches, that's not easy. He's smart enough to keep you at distance. If you rush in, you could walk right into a punch. So yeah, take it seriously. That's a warning Davis can't afford to ignore. For all his explosive talent and knockout reputation, he's walking into a size problem he's never dealt with before. Jake Paul may not be a world champion, but he's a big man who's been landing heavy shots at cruiserweight and beyond.
Boxing has gone too far. Jake Paul is taking on Gervonta "Tank" Davis in an exhibition bout this November. The fight will be taking place in Atlanta between the cruiserweight and the 135-pounder, nearly a 100-pound difference between the two guys. This is absolutely insane. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below.
Even with Gervonta's obvious power advantage in his usual division, jumping nearly 60 pounds, as ESPN reported, changes everything. It's not just about strength anymore. It's about timing, rhythm, and how punches land when the other guy outweighs you by that much. That's why Davis's team has doubled down on strength and conditioning. This version of Tank looks thicker in the arms, shoulders, and chest. It's not for show, it's survival prep. The lightweight champ now looks more solid than ever. He's still shorter, but his frame carries more mass proof that he's building to handle Jake's natural weight and strength. Normally, a fight between 135 and 195 pounds would never be sanctioned, but since this is an exhibition, there's no official weight limit or title at stake, giving Davis room to bulk up safely.
He was talking about fighting Joshua, which is heavyweight, and now he's saying about fighting Tank. Nah, this can't be. It's Netflix as well. I need to go and do some checks and see if like the main pages are posted this, but Jake Paul's posted it. It says Friday, November 14th. It's in Atlanta, State Farm.
Woodley's warning echoes what many analysts are already saying. Tank can't rely solely on explosiveness. Against someone with a 6-inch reach and nearly 60 extra pounds, he'll need precision and patience to close the distance. If he rushes in carelessly, one clean right hand could end things fast, just like it did for Woodley. Still, not everyone believes Jake Paul stands a real chance. Claressa Shields made her opinion clear in an interview with $1 million worth of game. I think Shocker beats Gervonta Davis, and I used to think Devin Haney. I think Devin can outbox Tank, but once Tank catches him, it's going to be a long night. The only one I think can beat him is Shocker. Shields knows greatness when she sees it. She's a 2-time Olympic gold medalist and the first boxer, male or female, to become undisputed in 3 different weight classes during the 4-belt era. Her respect for Davis runs deep, but even she admits this fight might not look pretty.
Where he could land one big punch and Tank being so much smaller, he just can't handle the power?
Nah, not at all. I think Tank is, he's been boxing his whole life, been boxing since a kid, so I doubt like that's going to be an issue or problem. I think Jake is good for where he's at, but I think it's just levels.
Do you see a more likely chance that Tank wins by decision or by...
Tank, listen, you better whoop Jake or I'll have a problem with you, Shields said. No ifs or buts. You shouldn't have even signed that contract unless you're sure. I think Tank's going to beat him, but it's going to be an ugly fight. Jake's going to lean on him, fight dirty, and honestly, I'm not even sure Tank's punches will hurt him. Jake's just so big.
Good in this. I don't know how it is. It looks to me David and Goliath, but David got skill and Goliath doesn't, but I don't know how it's going to work out. But if for some reason it winds up being a really fun event and it has tons and tons and millions and millions and millions of viewers, when Gervonta Davis goes back to his...
That's the big question everyone's asking. Will Gervonta's knockout power carry over against someone that much larger? Davis has made his name-ending fights with one clean shot. But landing that same punch on a man 50 to 60 pounds heavier is a whole different challenge. Even with heavier gloves, Jake's natural size gives him an edge in taking damage. The fight itself has already stirred plenty of controversy. Recently, MVP Promotions, Jake Paul's company, withdrew its application for an event license in Georgia. The Georgia Athletic and Entertainment Commission told USA Today that MVP pulled out after realizing the weight difference was too great. Commission Chairman Rick Thompson later confirmed it, saying, "They probably evaluated the situation and knew the weight differences were too much."
I'm just getting warmed up, but this will certainly shut up a lot more people. Each fight has done that so far. Only 5 years as a pro, and feels like the last fight I had was the end of chapter 1. This is the beginning of chapter 2. And I'm only 28 years old. I have a lot more to prove. And once I beat this guy, more people will shut up. But at the end of the day, I'm really still just getting warmed up in the sport. And I'm going to show how.
That comment only fueled the criticism. Many inside boxing have called the fight dangerous, a spectacle between a lifelong lightweight and a cruiserweight. Jake's fought as heavy as 200 pounds. Even entering the heavyweight range for his exhibition with Mike Tyson last November, Gervonta, meanwhile, weighed in at just 135 pounds for his last official fight.
you can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them.
Will it impact Tank's legacy if Jake Paul were like to beat him or even like knock him out?
Dude, Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take anything away from him. Bro, you can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them. It's the same way Roach feels Tank is the best option for him. Same way.
The skepticism makes sense, but it's also what makes the matchup fascinating. Despite the massive size gap, Davis is still the betting favorite because of his skill and pedigree. He's sharper, faster, and far more experienced. Tank has to prove he can take punches from a man used to flooring heavier opponents, while Jake has to show his power matters against elite timing and footwork. The outcome will come down to who adjusts first, the smaller man surviving, or the bigger man landing clean.
Jake Paul versus Tank Davis, they just announced the fight. What's your instant reaction to that?
I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. I think it's not a real fight. Jake just too big. Tank ain't gonna be able to get in from that jab. Jake land one good punch on Tank.
David Benavidez also weighed in on the fight. The undefeated WBC light heavyweight champion doesn't even entertain exhibitions himself. But when asked about this matchup, his tone was a mix of curiosity and warning, like he knew it could get wild. It's a trip, Benavidez said. Jake's big, and he's been improving. But Tank's a killer. That's the general feeling across boxing. Half the sport says this fight shouldn't happen, and the other half can't wait to see if Gervonta's aggression can break through a man nearly 70 pounds heavier.
He ain't gonna fight back. He said, so I said, you gotta take him serious. You get what I'm saying? Because he talked about, he had you on a hit list before this fight even happened. So his mental is on you. So you have to take him serious.
And lately, it's been impossible not to notice how big Tank's gotten. Every clip, every new photo, he's moving differently. He's not carrying himself like a lightweight anymore. He's eating, lifting, and training like someone who expects to be hit by a wall.
3 to 4, probably wake up probably like 11, get my run in, and then eat, probably lay back down, and then wake up probably like 6 or 7, get...
And after all the warnings about Jake's power, who could blame him? Still, Benavidez flipped the usual narrative. Instead of worrying about the weight difference, he's wondering what happens if Tank lands first. This isn't going to be one of those exhibitions where they play around, he said. Tank's not coming to dance, he's coming to hurt him every single round.
Tank looked very uncomfortable facing off. He just did. I've seen other face-off this Tank done. He gets in their face and they're intense and he looks good. He looked very meager up there. You've had 8 fights and you're gonna go tangle with Tank Davis. And the story instantly comes out. Jake is so much bigger. There is such a compliment to Jake within that insult. It is meant to...
And that's what gives this fight its strange electric tension. 2 completely different worlds colliding, both with something to prove. Jake Paul's made his intentions clear. I'm gonna knock this guy out, he told reporters, staring straight into the camera like he's repeated it too many times to doubt it now. It's probably going to be one of the most viral knockouts in boxing history.
3 to 4, probably wake up probably like 11, get my run in, and then eat, probably lay back down, and then wake up probably like 6 or 7, get...
Jake's been in full camp for weeks, bulking back up to somewhere between 190 to 200 pounds. By fight night, he'll likely step into the ring around 2, facing a man who usually walks around 150 on his heaviest days. The size difference alone is shocking, but Jake sees that as part of the statement. He wants the risk, the spotlight, and the noise. He knows if he flattens Tank, the internet will go insane.
It's kind of weird, because Jake Paul is extremely bigger than Tank. And I mean, but with it being exhibition, it makes sense. It's fine. He got a big...
And to his credit, Jake's doing everything to make sure nobody can claim the fight's staged. Full-on random drug testing, he said. No excuses, no rigging, just 2 guys fighting. But even while he's been adding size, Jake's been making smart moves behind the scenes, bringing in sparring names that surprised even Tank's circle.
I don't want to beat up somebody that small. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying?
What do you think of the fight?
I don't want to lose to somebody that's... There's no point in the fight. It's a great fight, actually.
You think
I'm not hating on the fight, but I think my thoughts on it is let's watch and see what happens.
Ryan Garcia said that boxing is turning into WWE.
Yeah,
with that type of matchup. What do you agree? Last thing, White House card, like he said.
One of those names, Shocker Stevenson, Gervonta's biggest rival, reportedly offered to help Jake prepare. According to Jake himself, Shocker wants to join camp for sparring alongside other sharp southpaws like Montana Love, Jermaine Ortiz, and Erickson Lubin. We've got some great guys coming in, Jake told Fight Hub TV. Fast, quick, shifty. That's not random. Those fighters know Gervonta's style inside out, and in Shocker's case, he's been calling Davis out for years. That's where things get messy, because even though Gervonta's focused, Shocker teaming up with Jake blurs the line between rivalry and betrayal. The two have traded shots online for months, turning what could have been a dream matchup into something deeply personal. So, for Shocker to align even loosely with Jake, it stings.
Why?
I mean, I get it, because at the end of the day, it's the money business, and you want to make the most money, but from what I'm hearing, he can make more money in a fight with me, and if that's the case, why not fight me?
Sure. Do you think he beats Jake Paul?
Do I think he beats Jake? Yeah. I mean,
There's a huge size advantage, though.
it is, but I think Tank got the skills.
Meanwhile, Tank's camp has stayed silent. No trash talk, just training footage and muscle mass. He's been seen using heavy resistance bands, working short-range power drills, and rotating his shoulders harder than ever. Everything points to a man trying to turn speed into weight. He knows Jake's size changes the game. He can't dart in and out like he did against Ryan Garcia. One clean right hand from a 200-pounder, and even Tank's legendary chin could get tested in ways we've never seen.
Over 10 3-minute rounds. I said it was 190. The fight is 195 pounds, Tank, as you know. Over 10 3-minute rounds. And when Tank and Jake enter the squared circle to go to battle, they will be wearing 12-ounce gloves. 3 commission-approved, world-class professional judges will score every round.
Benavidez's comments hit that point perfectly. He's not dismissing Jake, but he's not fooled either. Jake's improving, he said, but Tank's a killer. Still, size is no joke. If they're using small gloves, it goes both ways. Jake's going to be around 210. Tank, maybe 150. If either one lands clean, someone could go out cold.
Jake Paul, Tank Davis fight got moved to Miami.
I think Jake wins.
Jake's just so big, dude.
I think Jake wins.
This is different because it's similar. It's similar to Logan versus Mayweather, but
Jake has
Jake
better
Paul
boxing.
now obviously is way more advanced than where Logan was at that moment in time.
That's why, sanctioned or not, this fight feels like more than an exhibition. There's real danger in the air, and the controversy only adds to it. The Georgia Athletic Commission already forced MVP Promotions to pull the original event permit, citing the extreme weight difference.
Looking good in this. I don't know how it is. It looks to me David and Goliath, but David got skill and Goliath doesn't. But I don't know how it's going to work out. But if for some reason it winds up being a really fun event and it has tons and tons of millions and millions and millions of viewers, when Gervonta Davis goes back to his...
They didn't want to approve it as a professional bout. So now, officially, it's an exhibition. No record, relaxed rules, but possibly more attention than most world title fights this year. Everyone in boxing knows what exhibition really means here. It's just the legal term keeping the fight alive.
I believe that this is a mismatch, and I believe that Jake Paul will knock Tank Davis out, maybe in the 3rd, maybe in the 4th round. Tank will try to move, he will try to stick and move. It's not gonna work out for him, and he will eventually get knocked out. To be honest,
Both fighters plan to hurt each other. Both have promised knockouts. Both have crossed the line where pretending it's friendly no longer makes sense. The timing couldn't be better or worse, depending who you ask. Tank's fresh off a dominant run, but taking a massive weight leap no one saw coming. Jake's trying to redeem himself after the Tyson controversy. And he knows, shocking, the boxing world again is the only way to do it. So, what do you think? Can Jake Paul pull it off? Or will Gervonta Davis prove why levels matter? Share your thoughts below, and subscribe for more updates.